Hi, good evening, everyone. Yesterday, I dropped off in middle. So let's get started. Okay. So yesterday, I was talking about the syllabus. Okay. So as a Java syllabus, like I will be covering up core Java, advanced Java, then Spring Boot, Hibernate, basics of SQL, along with this web services. Okay. Okay. Coming to the syllabus. So installation of Java. Okay. And then once we install the Java, then we'll see what is JDK, JRE, JVM. Okay. Then here is where the programming starts. Variables. Okay. Constants, data types. Okay. And then we have 52 keywords in Java. Okay. So we in Java we called it as keywords or buzzwords. Okay. So if you learn these 52 keywords, we are good with it. అంటే we are good with the programming. అంటే మీకు ఈ 50 keywords కన్నా ఐడియా వస్తే how to use it, then you will become a good programmer, Java programmer. Okay. And then we have principles of programming. So in that we will be discussing about you know OOPS concepts. Okay. OOPS concepts are like class. What is class? Inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism. Okay. Dynamic binding. Okay. So we will discuss about this, like one more message passing. These are the OOPS concepts. Then we'll discuss about axis modifiers. Okay. We have axis modifiers. We have 4. Okay. Public, private, protected, default. Okay. So then we have few keywords, important keywords in Java. So you will face this kind of question. I mean, you will face interview questions on this. I mean, this keyword, super keyword. Okay. Static, constructor. Okay. Okay. So these are keywords, important keywords, and then we have control structures. In control structures, we will be talking about if else. Okay. And then we have for loop, while loop. Okay. So do while. So all these things. And then the next concept we have is next concept is packages. Okay. And then abstract classes. We have interfaces. And then exception handling mechanism. Multi-threading collections. In collections, we have, again, list, set. Okay. So nowadays, these are very important. Map. In list, we have array list, linked list. Okay. In set again, we have, asset, linked asset. Okay. In map, we have again map, we have hash map. Okay. Remap, hash table. Okay. So this is the collection interfaces we have, and then we have few more interfaces called iterator. Okay, list iterator. Yeah, so there are so many, but still we discuss about these things. Okay, so we have enumerator, vector. Those are legacy classes which are not much useful nowadays. Okay, and then we'll talk about the last concept is Java 8 features. Okay, so this is what the syllabus that we are going to cover it in the core Java. Okay, and after this you will be seeing the advanced concepts. Okay, once we finish with this, then we'll talk about the syllabus on advanced Java, and then Spring Boot, Hibernate. So SQL you should know, and then web services. Okay, we will be covering all this. So let's start with the fundamentals of programming. Okay, so what is fundamentals of programming? So basically, in industry, we have 5 types of programming. Okay, first of all, let's understand what is a programming. Hello, are you guys able to hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what is programming? Programming ante enti? Why do we need programming? Right? So the definition is programming is set of instructions. Set of instructions to achieve some task. Okay. So let's say I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. Okay. Don't think this is a small, there's very small task that you want to print it through programming. But in real world, ఎందుకు మనకు programming అవసరం? What are the advantages? For example, so advantages ఏంటివి అని అంటే, let's say in olden days మనము బ్యాంక్కి వెళ్ళి మనీ విత్డ్రా చేయాలంటే ఒక స్లిప్ రాసి క్యూలో మార్నింగ్ నుంచి ఈవినింగ్ వరకు నిలబడితే we used to get amount, we used to collect amount, correct? So that was a time taking process, correct? మనము ఎఫర్ట్ పెట్టాల్సి వస్తుంది, so we have to waste our energy, all that, correct? But to reduce that, so what we have come up, ATMs, correct? ATMs, which it helps you to easily withdraw money, correct? Deposit, balance check. You don't have to go to bank for this, correct? Yes or no? So మీరు బ్యాంకుకి వెళ్ళాల్సిన అవసరం లేదన్నమాట. So which is very easiest, we are making things easiest. So one advantage ఏంటివి? So basically programming వల్ల we are automating things. So let's say if you want to withdraw money after 5, okay, bank నుంచి after 5 withdraw చేయాలంటే, can you withdraw it? No. But can you withdraw it from a ATM which is working from 24/7, which is working for 24/7? Can you able to withdraw? Yes. So it is making life easier, correct? So basically, a machine is a combination of software and hardware, right? ఆ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ని హార్డ్వేర్ తో లింకప్ చేసి మన హ్యూమన్ ఎఫర్ట్ ని తగ్గించడానికి, కరెక్ట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? వాట్ ఆర్ ద అడ్వాంటేజెస్? సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వల్ల అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఏంటి? టు రెడ్యూస్ ద హ్యూమన్ ఎఫర్ట్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? టు సేవ్ ద టైం. టైం ఎందుకు సేవ్ అవుతుంది? వై డు వి సేవ్ టైం? లెట్స్ సే ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు కౌంట్ 1 lakh, how much time it takes for you? Maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Assume that there is a counting machine which you want to, let's say you have 1 crore amount with you and you want to count it. You will take whole day to count it. But machine make things easier. Yes or no? Machine which will save your time. Machine will save your time. So it will reduce your effort. Correct? For getting the, let's say 1 or 2 lakhs లెక్క పెట్టిన తర్వాత నీకు థర్డ్ 3 లక్షల నుంచి లెక్క పెట్టాలంటే, సో విచ్ యూ విల్ ఫీల్ డిఫికల్టీ, కరెక్ట్? విచ్ యూ విల్ ఫీల్ difficulty to count it. You don't know accurate results will come or not, correct? But machine will not do mistakes. Yes or no? Machine will not do so. So that is one advantage. So machine is, or our software is saving your time, correct? And then what else? It is saving your time and for getting the accurate results, accurate and secure results. యాక్యురేట్ రిజల్ట్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను 1000 విత్డ్రా చేస్తుంటే 2000 వచ్చిందంటే దట్స్ నాట్ యాక్యురేట్ రిజల్ట్, కరెక్ట్? ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ట్రైయింగ్ టు, ఐ మీన్, అండ్ సెక్యూర్ థింగ్స్, సో ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి the money which you are trying to withdraw from an ATM, it has to be secured and it should be accurate results, correct? For getting the accurate and secure results, for getting the accurate and secure results, what you will use? A software is required, correct? A software, when a software is required, how do we design a software? Using a programming languages. So how many types of programming languages we have? Let's see that. Okay, let's see that. If you see in the industry, we have different types of programming languages, different types of programming languages. Let's see what are the programming languages we have in the industry. Okay, we have 5 types of programming languages in the industry. What are all those? What are all those? So types of programming language. So you have to identify the difference between programming language and a software. A software can be designed with different programming languages, correct? So for example, you know Tamil or you know Kannada, I know Telugu. There should be some translator between of us, correct? There should be a communicator between of us. So that is which we, let's say you need a software and I want to design it. There should be some programming which I can design a software. There are so many programming languages in the industry. Okay, what are all those? Markup language, okay, then scripting languages, okay, and then we have low level language, okay, then we have high level language, okay, then we have database level language. So we have 5 types of programming languages in the industry. What are the markup languages we have? If you talk about HTML is a markup language, XML is a markup language, JSP is a markup language. Why do we call it as a HTML, XML and JSPs are markup languages? Because it uses the tags, So which we called it as markup languages. Now the scripting languages, we have different kinds of scripting languages we have in the industry. You know, JavaScript, VBScript, Shell script. Okay. So then we have low level languages or machine level languages. COBOL, Pascal, even Python was also machine level language. One of the, early 90s. But it has become very popular nowadays. It has become very popular nowadays with making few, by adding few things to it. They have added a few features to it, like OOPS concepts, all that it has been added. Okay, and it has become very popular nowadays. Now, high level languages: C, C++, Java, PHP, or .NET. Okay, so these are the high level languages we have. Now, database level languages. If you talk about database level languages, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, MongoDB, right? So many, etc., etc., etc. So many DBs like this. So now, let's say if I want to design some software, how do I use these technologies? I should understand this, right? Correct. Before learning any technology, I should understand where am I using this technology? Where am I using this technology? So let's understand that. So if I want to design some software, let's say I want to design some Facebook. I want to design some Facebook. Let's see that how I am going to design that. So every web application, we'll talk about like what is a web application, what is an enterprise application, all that. But so if I want to design some software, that software is what I'm designing it, the Facebook application I'm designing it right now. And what are the technical stack that I'm going to use for this? What is the technical stack that I'm going to use for this? Let's understand this. So this is a Facebook login application. Okay. This is a Facebook login application, which I have some username. Okay. I have some password. Okay. Now, uh, here it is cancelled. Here it is. Sorry, login. Okay. This is login. This is cancel. Okay. So now, what are these two layers? As an end customer or an end user, you will be able to see what only this layer. Yes or no? Right? You'll not be able to see what is this layer is about. What's happening? What will happen? Any web application. So any web application like which are accessing through internet. Okay, it will have three layers. It will have what? Three layers. Now, what are those three layers? Let's understand this. So it has these three layers. What's going to happen this? If you see this front end, okay. Okay. So basically, now what is this layer? We know this layer, correct? We know this layer, and which technologies will be used to design this? Okay. So we should know, correct? Before learning things, we should understand what are the technical stack that we are using for each layer, correct? So for designing this front end, whatever you are entering it, correct? abc@gmail.com, and then you'll enter some password, correct? Something like this. Yes or no? And then what will happen when you click on the login button? What will happen when you click on the login button? When you click on the login button, what happens? So basically, before doing this, okay, so when you click on the login button, there should be this layer is called what? This layer is called presentation layer. Layer is called presentation layer. And let's talk about this. Before talking about which layer it is, let's understand what does it do. What does this layer do? Okay, ఏం చేస్తుందో let's understand this now. Okay, so actually I talked about, you know, what is a programming, right? What is a programming? So what are the advantages? So what are the advantages? So basically advantages వచ్చి we are trying to reduce our human effort to save the time for getting accurate and secure results. Now we understand what is a programming. Now let's understand what is a function or module. Function or oh, let's understand this. Function is set of programs. Function is set of programs. So what are the examples? The functions are ATM hold of which all functions? Let's say if you see ATM, it will have withdraw function functioning. That's a functioning, right? Withdraw is one functioning. Deposit is one functioning, right? Balance check is one function. So basically all these are functions. To design one functionality, I need set of programs. Function is a set of programs to basically to do some task. So basically, say if you say withdraw is a function which has set of programs, So we call it as a function or a module. We call it as a function or a module. If you talk about, now we understand like what is we need to write as, I mean, we to achieve some functionality we need to write set of programs. Now what is a software, right? We should know like what is a function, what is a program, what is a software, correct? So software is set of functionalities, yes or no? So basically if you say one ATM which has combination of functionalities, right? All these are, if I say uh, if I say ATM which has some ATM software, it has some list of functionalities like withdraw, deposit, balance check, mini statement. So each program, assume that for one function I'm writing 5 programs. Okay, so if I have 10 functions, I have to write how many programs? 50 programs, correct? So this is how we design a software. Now we understand like what is a software. Software is set of instructions. So what is a function? Function is set of programs. Now what is a program? Program is set of instructions to achieve some task. Okay, so now we understand what is a software. Software is set of functionalities. So basically which we use to reduce the human effort. Software is a set of functionalities which we use to reduce the human effort to save the time for getting accurate and secure results. Now we understand, right? Now what is a machine, right? So a machine is a physical object, right? A machine is a physical object, combination of software and hardware. We should understand all this, correct? Basics before learning the programming. What is an example? Example is ATM. Example is ATM machine, right? Mobile is one machine, which is a combination of software and hardware. Computer is one machine, right? In corporate offices, you might be seeing the lending machine. Lending machine, which you will get coffee, tea, Horlicks, Bonvita, all that, correct? So you might be seeing cola machine also. You just put the coin Okay, you will get the cola, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Thumbs Up, anything you will get. All these are the physical objects. Okay, just keep it in mind. We know these are the physical objects, physical object, right? ATM needs some space. If something it is occupying some space, then that is a object. So basically an object is a physical entity which occupies some space. ఇప్పుడు ఏటీఎం పెట్టామంటే దానికి కొంచెం స్పేస్ కావాలి కదా. If I am putting a mobile, it needs some space. Computer, it's an object which requires some space to put it. Lending machine, it requires some space. It's a physical entity, physical object which occupies some space. In computer language, in computer terminologies, we say that it is a memory. Okay, in memory, I mean, we in computer, if you want to store something, it requires some memory or not? Yes or no? So that is a machine. We understand now what is a software, what is a machine, what is a programming, what is a function or a module, right? Let's understand this in the diagram. So software is, what is software? Software is set of functionalities. Okay, so this business layer, this is called a business layer. Okay, it has some functionalities. What are those functionalities? I mean, Facebook has some functionalities. What are those? Like, okay, share, okay, comment, okay, and then what else? You'll have login, then you'll have registration. Okay, let's put this login here, then registration, then we have comment, share. This is something third party access. Okay, this is something like, okay, what did I told you? Software is set of functionalities. Facebook has what functionalities? It has the login functionality, registration functionality, comment functionality, share functionality, third party. Like you will be seeing in Facebook, you will see different kinds of, what is it, ads. You see Flipkart ads, Amazon ads, correct? In Facebook. How does it relates to Facebook? It relates to Flipkart, all that. How does it happen? It happens through third party functionality. This is one function, right? What did I told you? Function is set of programs. Function is set of programs. Now, so to write one function, I need to write some 5 programs to achieve it. Okay, one functionality, if I want to achieve one functionality, so why do I need to write set of programs? Let's understand this. Okay, so I'll explain this. How does it happens? So what each program does. Okay, so I told you function is a set of programs. Function is a set of programs. Let's understand this. So I'm drawing here the program. Each one is one program. So when you click on this login button, so these details should have been there already in the database. These details should have been there in the database already, correct? So in the database, when you do a registration, there will be a registration table in the backend. Okay, there will be a registration table in the backend. So if you're doing login, there should be login button in the, I mean the login table in the backend, correct? And if you're commenting something, you should have a comment table, you should have a like table. You are uploading photos, that table should be there. You are sharing it, that table should be there. So whenever you do the registration or when you're logging in, what happens is this details has to be verified or not. These details are, is it, I mean, when you're logging in, when you're giving the username and password, what happens, you will know what it happens here. Okay, now let's understand this. What is going to happen here? Now this username password will be carried, a program will be carried to this. Okay, it has to be verified whether these details are existing details or not in the login table. We have to cross check that. So there will be one program which it carries this username and password. It will come here and it will give it to So this program's responsibility is to just get the data from the UI. Now this program's responsibility is done. This program's responsibility is done. Now it will give it to other program. So what it does is it will give it to other program. Now this program's responsibility is whether these details are is username password. I mean, is password is coming an empty, or is password is username coming as an empty. So these details it will check. If one of the field is empty, then it will go back and say, okay, password is empty. If it is not empty, okay, this validation is done. Now it's program that functionality is done. Now it will give it to other program. Now, boss, my task is done. Now it's your responsibility to take it to the next step. Now what this program does is, okay, it takes this username password, okay, it will establish a connection to the database. Are you guys following me? Hello. So now this program, it takes it to the database and it verifies whether these details are there in the database or not. Now it's done. 1 minute, guys. Now this program's responsibility is to check whether these details are there in the database or not. Now it has checked, the details are there, and it will come back and say the details are there. Okay, it will come back here and it says this. Okay, my responsibility is done now. Now you have to, I mean, my responsibility is done, and it will give that response to the other program, where the other program will be able to send back the response saying you will be landed into home page. You will be landed into the home page. Now you understand like how the programming happens behind. Now we should understand which all the technologies being used for this, and which all technologies is being used for this, and which all technologies is being used for this. Now we understood, right? How a programming flow it happens from front end and back end. You guys might never have seen this, correct? This flow where the flow it happens. This is any web application. It's a 3-tier architecture. Any web application, it's a 3-tier architecture. So which you should understand this, right? Now let's understand which all the technologies we use it for designing this layer, right? So for designing the front end, we use HTML, right? We use HTML and then JavaScript, AngularJS, right? React.js. So there are so many things, right? CSS, Bootstrap, JSP, okay, etc., etc., etc. Okay, this is for designing what? Front end. Now it has come to the next layer. What technologies will be used for designing this layer? Now to design this, we need Java J2EE, Java J2EE, Spring Boot, Hibernate, something like this, and in Java's point of view. Now .NET, it has its own things. PHP, it has its own things, right? So many other things, other technologies also nowadays, Golang, right? There are so many things like this, correct? So there are so many things which you can handle the business logic. Let's say, let's understand one more scenario. If you want to add two numbers, okay, A you are giving 10, B you are giving 20, and there's a add button. When you click on add button, something has to be done, addition, correct? So it will take it to this where the functionality is being written. I mean, for adding two numbers, this function, it will add the two numbers, it will send back the response. So the business layer, basically, which it happens a business, I mean, the validations, calculations, all those kind of things we achieve it through these technologies. Now we understand this, the second layer also, correct? So we now this layer is Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, right? So Postgres. So we have so many different kinds of technologies we have, right? So we'll be able to where we'll be able to achieve where we'll be able to achieve the database part. What does it do here? What does it do here? So basically it stores, we call it as, what is this? Database layer. Why do we need this? To store the data. Yes or no? Why do we need this? To store the data. To store the data. So basically, correct? This is Java, this is .NET, PHP, Golang, different technologies we use. Here we'll use Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, right? Postgres, etc., etc., etc. Right? So basically, this is for visualizing the data. This is for business validation, and this layer is for storing some data. Hello, all good? So far, so good. So basically, we understood now what is a software, what is a program, what is a functionality, correct? So, and then how a programming industry, we have 5 types of programming: HTML, XML, JSP, all this like markup, scripting, low level, high level languages, database level languages. And we use this, I mean, we have designed some kind of software with a diagram, the technologies which we will use in the industry. How, I mean, before going to learn the skill, we should understand where we'll use which technology, right? So this is what the diagram it is. Okay, that's all guys for today's session. Any questions, any concerns? All good? Hello? Hello? Guys, can you hear me?